Hello everyone. In this video we are going to explore the Azure Resource Hierarchy. We will break down how management groups, subscriptions, and resource groups are structured and how they help keep your cloud environment organized and manageable. So if you all are ready, let's get started. Organizing and managing resources in the cloud is important for keeping costs under control, improving security, and making operations easier to handle. In Microsoft Azure, the resource hierarchy explains how everything is structured, from management groups to subscriptions to resource groups. By understanding this hierarchy, you can apply rules more effectively, manage permissions in the right way, and build a cloud environment that is both scalable and well organized. So, the Azure resources are organized in a layered structure that allows administrators to apply policies, access controls, and governance at different levels. The hierarchy consists of four main levels: management groups, subscriptions, resource groups, and resources. So let's get started with the management groups. At the top of the Azure hierarchy are management groups. They allow you to group multiple subscriptions together, providing a single structure that makes it easier to apply governance policies consistently across all subscriptions. Let's talk about the key features of management groups. First of all, it can contain other management groups or subscriptions. And policies and role-based access control assigned at this level are inherited by all child elements. This means the other management groups or subscriptions we have under that specific management group are inheriting what we assigned. And it is ideal for large organizations with multiple business units or environments like development, testing, and production. And as the final words for management groups, let's talk about a specific example use case about management groups. Let's talk about a company with multiple Azure subscriptions for different departments can group them under a single management group to apply global compliance rules. It makes it so much easier, right? So it is the whole point to use management groups, and it is specifically really important in Azure Resource Hierarchy. Let's continue with the second layer of our Azure Resource Hierarchy, subscriptions. A subscription is a logical container that holds Azure resources and is linked to an Azure account. It is also the billing boundary, meaning all usage within a subscription is built together. And let's talk about the key features of it. First of all, each subscription has its own limits and quotas. That means each subscription in Azure comes with its own limits and quotas, like how many resources you can create. This helps separate workloads and keep usage organized. And the second one is it can be used to separate environments like development, testing, and production. And you can separate your departments like IT, finance, and all other departments. And as the final one, it is linked to Azure Active Directory for identity and access management, meaning each subscription is connected to Azure Active Directory, which handles identity and access management, meaning it can control who can access which resources. And let's talk about an example use case for subscriptions. Just like we talked about in the second clause of key features, for an example, a company might use separate subscriptions for departments like finance, HR, or IT, or for environments like development, testing, and production. It makes it much easier to manage each department's resources and keep everything organized. And as the third layer, let's talk about the resource group. A resource group is a container that holds related Azure resources like virtual machines, databases, or storage accounts. It helps you manage and organize resources that share the same lifecycle so you can deploy, update, or delete them together. And let's talk about the key features of it. First, simple management by grouping related resources. Resource groups make management easier by grouping related resources together. For example, you can put a virtual machine, its storage, and its network settings in the same group and manage them as one unit. And as the second one, deployment, deletion, or policy application. With resource groups, you can deploy, delete, or apply policies to all resources inside the group at once. This makes operations faster and more consistent. And as the last one, role-based access control at the group level. Let's talk about a specific example use case. For example, if you have a web app, its database, and a storage account, you can put them all in the same resource group. This way you can manage, update, or delete them together easily. As you can see, the Azure Resource Hierarchy is specifically about managing your resources from one hand with different layers. And as the last one, let's talk about the lowest level in the hierarchy, Azure Resources. Each resource is deployed within a resource group and subscription, and it inherits access controls and policies from higher levels. Azure Resources are the actual Azure services you create and use, such as virtual machines, app services, storage accounts, SQL databases, function apps, and Kubernetes services. And as the last part, I want to show a quick demonstration about how we create resource groups in Microsoft Azure. As you can see, we have many different Azure services that we can use, and I'm going to create my own resource group now, but if you can't find it in here, you can use the search bar and type resource groups. Click resource groups part and click create. After that, I am using Azure for Students subscription, but if you have any kind of different specific subscription, you can use that. And as a resource group name, I'm going to use RG01. And for the region, the default is East US, but you can use specifically different region for your needs. Click Review and Create, and then we can see I have my basics information and I haven't used any tags. Click Create, and yeah, my resource group has been created. And as the conclusion, it is pretty important to understand how Azure Resource Hierarchy works. And it is probably one of the key factors to manage your management groups, subscriptions, and resource groups with the most efficient way. If you have any questions, leave a comment below so I can respond it. Take care.